9mm versus 38 special on compact guns. And what do I mean by compact guns? I mean a 4-inch semi-automatic pistol and a 3-inch revolver, because you need to go to like a 3-inch auto and a 2-inch revolver. That's kind of subcompact or snub. And if you go to a 4-inch revolver or a 5-inch pistol, that's kind of full size. So compact guns. And today what I have is a Winchester Silvertip. I've tested the Silvertip 9mm in a 3.2-inch barrel and a 5-inch barrel, but not this 4-inch barrel. And I've tested this 38 special Silvertip and a 2-inch barrel and a 4-inch barrel, but not the 3-inch barrel yet. Now the obvious thing that stands out here is this is a little bit different branding of the Silvertip. We have our, classic Winchester Super X Silvertip, which is, as far as I can tell, is still made in 38 special, but it's not made in 9mm anymore. They kind of transitioned over, and they also make this in this branding, but it's a little bit different because this is a 110 grain in that, and in the Super X it's a 125 grain plus P. And a 9mm, it is a 115 grain standard pressure. So there is no plus P 9mm that I know of in the Silvertip, and no other bullet weights that I know of. I just found it in 115 grain. So I'm going to use the best that I have. Now, in the past, I did not get expansion with this. And a lot of people say, well, it's not a very good round, but I had a different opinion on it, because what I saw was a lot of damage and it did not over penetrate. And to me, that matters more than if you have beautiful expansion. I think it did okay, but we're going to see how it does in a 3-inch barrel versus our 9mm and a 4-inch barrel. And we're going to go through the current graph. We're going to see what kind of velocity and accuracy we get at the same time. Then we're going to do our 10% clear ballistic test. We have 4 layers of denim, followed by 3 inches of clear ballistics to represent a pectoral muscle, followed by a 1/4 inch MDF to represent hitting ribs or sternum. And to more clear ballistics, we'll do a shot with the MDF and without it, representing a chest shot versus a gut shot. And if we can stay in this first block, generally I find that to be perfect. If we go into the second block, I kind of find that to be over penetration. So we're going to then shoot from let me just do 10 yards today. People like to really see the self-defense aspects of shooting at 10 yards, because it's pretty much the maximum most people are going to have a defensive situation from. So let's get started with this test. All right, first up we have our 9mm Silvertip, and what I got in the 5-inch pistol was 1290 feet per second with this round, and in the 3.2-inch I got 1175 feet per second. So we'll probably be in between that with this 4-inch pistol, but let's see what we get. 1225, 1203, 1211, 1199. I'll read 1187, so a little bit higher than the 3.2-inch as I expected. Let's try our 38 special, see how that does. All right, 38 special and the 4-inch barrel, we got 913 feet per second average, and a 2-inch barrel 847. So we should see upper 800s. So let's see what we get in the 38. 898, 873, 924. 905, 920. So we're actually pretty close to the 4-inch barrel, which makes a lot of sense. The recoil was really low, so we're probably hitting our maximum velocity we're really going to get out of a round like this around 3 to 4 inches. So that makes an efficient snub nose loader 3-inch barrel, though. I'll give it that. Let's hit our ballistics gel block, see what we get with these rounds. All right, first up we have our 9mm. We're going to go through our 4 layers of denim, 3 inches of clear ballistics, 1/4 inch MDF into more clear ballistics. I'll do that shot, then I'll pull out the MDF and I'll do our gut shot, and we'll see how it compares. So see what we got with our 9mm through our MDF. No MDF, just our gut shot. All right, so what we got there, quite a big difference there between MDF and no MDF. Our MDF shot, we went up here to about 15 3/4. That's perfectly fine. With no MDF, we went to about 19.5 inches, which, that might be considered a little bit over penetration, but honestly not. It looks like it did pretty well, honestly. And here's our MDF hit. So we definitely had expansion that first 3 inches. So it's expanding right away. And we have good expansion from what I can tell. So let's try our 38, see how that goes. All right, 38 special through our MDF. All right, no MDF. All right, so we kind of saw the same thing going on here, except no expansion and a little bit more penetration with that 38 special. So with our MDF, we actually have bullet deformation of that nose, and we're looking at about 16.5 inches. That's not bad. We have over penetration with no MDF at 20.25 inches, 20.5, something like that. So this is the point I want to make here. We saw what the 9mm did when we got expansion, but when you actually look at the 38 special, there's actually more damage in this gel. It's kind of hard to see from this angle, but there's a significant difference you can see from the front here, where the MDF, the track is a lot wider. No MDF, it's bigger as well. So even though the 9mm won, it had expansion, that 38 did not do bad, because people are focusing too much on the outcome of that bullet and not paying attention to this. Now, if a bullet did terrible, and I've seen this before, where we got all the way up into the second block, what you'll see when a bullet does terrible is this little itty bitty line where there's no damage whatsoever in that, just this little tiny track. This is not like that at all. That's significant damage. So if you look at the big picture, it's not a terrible round. So let's shoot from that 10 yards, see what we get for accuracy. All right, 10 yards from the target. Now, sometimes these tests kind of play more into the platform of the gun than they do the actual ammo themselves. That being said, these guns weigh almost the same. They're about the same size overall. So they're a pretty comparative option if you have one or the other. So 10 yards, and let's go see how point shoots for me really quick. Fire it. So what we got there, and that's why I like standard pressure 9mm. It's just easier to control. So let's see how this thing will point shoot for me. Hold it a little bit low. Same thing. This thing takes a little bit more focus on the front sight, because the weight of that muzzle is just a little bit lower than what I might be used to normally. So let me aim right on it, see what we can get. All right, not a bad round. So that's what you get today, Silvertip versus 9mm. And this goes to more of an overall point I want to make about these ballistic testing. Sometimes people will see something and they'll be like, there we go, that's a good round. They'll see a massive expansion, and they'll pay attention to that and nothing else. They won't pay attention to the damage that we're getting. They won't pay attention to the penetration. They'll just say, hey, that expanded to 1.5 times. This is the perfect point, because these kind of performed like wad cutters, where you're really cutting through, because they had a very flat tip and that hollow cavity was big. I think that has something to do with the way it's pushing away material. The 38 did excellent. Even though it didn't expand, we got a little over penetration. That damage was pretty significant. It was more than 9mm. On paper, that 9mm looks good. It shoots good. I would definitely carry that 9mm. The way it shoots matters more than what happens in the gel. And it shot great, but in the gel, it did good too. This, I would probably pick something else, because there's better choices. There's better choices for 9mm too, but the 9mm did excellent. This did okay. And I think both are still pretty good rounds. So that's what you get today. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.